So the route that both teams have taken to get to this point, well, the Ukraine, they've had 2 wins and 1 loss in Pool A, and then lost to China in the semi-finals. Brazil, they won all their pool matches but lost to the USA in the semis. They both went head-to-head in the pool stages, and Brazil won 3 sets to nothing. Well, the Ukraine, for sure, will want to make amends here. Both teams going through their standard warm-up. Balls are being collected now, and the teams will come back to the benches. A few words from the coach before they'll be coming back out for their national anthems.
Well, with the warm-up over, as we look at Brazil and their route here to this bronze medal match, they were beaten by the United States of America 3-0. They have played Ukraine already, so they know what it takes for them. They beat them by 3 sets to nothing. Ukraine with a 2-2 record, losing to the People's Republic of China in the semi-finals. Ukraine perhaps then the underdogs going into this one, playing Brazil at Rio Centro 6 with a crowd full of Brazilian supporters. Ukraine's aim will be to try and keep them quiet. Easier said than done. They will have been looking long and hard at the video, though, from the game against Brazil earlier in the competition to see where they can improve, what their game plan needs to be this time round, and how they can be effective and take the 3 sets required for victory. Brazil also would have been looking at that same match and looking at how they did, where perhaps they could improve and where they can make sure, or try to make sure, that Ukraine have limited success. It all comes down to this now, but before any of that, it is time for the national anthems of both countries.
Ladies and gentlemen, the anthem of Ukraine. Senhoras e senhores, o hino da Ucrânia. And now, the anthem of Brazil. E agora, o hino do Brasil.
plenty of support from Brazil for the team, and plenty of voice as well from Rio Centro 6 for that anthem. One last opportunity for the teams to try and get themselves G'd up. Not that they'll need much more of that. It's all about handling the nerves at this situation now, handling the adrenaline, making sure that the occasion doesn't overcome them, that what's on stake and what's on offer, that has to be at the back of their mind. It's all about going out and just getting the job done. Before the players come out, we're going to meet the referees for this one. So it's the first official, Sari Mänösö from Finland, is in charge.
And the second referee from Estonia.
And from Estonia is Tumas Murulo, second referee.
And now, let's meet the teams. First, the starting lineup for Ukraine.
Unsurprisingly, Ukraine coming out onto court first. And having had a look at the video from their match against Brazil, they've decided to go with exactly the same lineup in exactly the same rotation for the match they started against Brazil earlier in the competition. So it's Margaryta PRYVALYKHINA, number 1. Anzhelika CHURKINA, number 2. The captain doesn't get a start. The setting role goes to Tetyana HURANSKA, number 3. It's Ilona YUDINA, number 6. And Larysa KLOCHKOVA, number 7. Oleksandra PODLIESNA, number 8. And Valentyna BRIK, number 12, making up the starting 6. The libero is Larysa KRIUKOVA, number 11. Head coach Viktor Timoshenko. Brazil also, for those of you that watched them play against Ukraine, well, they're going with the same lineup as well. So Gizele, number 3, is the setter. She starts at position 1. Adria Jesus de Silva, number 4, is starting at 5, middle blocking. Camila, number 6, going through the outside. She starts at 2. Nathalie, number 7, will be starting at 6. Jani FREITAS Batista, number 9. Jani, as she's known, will be at 3. And it's number 10, Janaina CUNHA, who's in the opposite slot. The head coach, Jose Gedges, and the libero for Brazil is Edwarda de Oliveira, number 2, Duda, as she is known. Best of 5 sets then to decide who will be taking home bronze here at the sitting volleyball. Second referee just checking the rotations are all correct, having a word with the coach for Brazil. We'll get the match ball and hand it to the serving team. Once the table have said everything's okay, we're nearly ready to go.
Teams ready to start. Ukraine playing in yellow, Brazil playing in green, and it's Ukraine to commence with the serving.
So a great start for Ukraine in this bronze medal match at Rio Centro 6 for the 2016 Rio Paralympic Games. And Brazil get themselves on the scoreboard with their side out.
Camila to serve. Now straight into the net. That's 2-1 now to Brazil. And a spike by Nathalie, unable to keep the ball in play. Now the scores are level at 2 apiece. HURANSKA to serve.
Well, it was going to be Brazil's point until the second referee called them for lifting, and so it's Ukraine who take it. As that ball was played by Janaina, she came off the floor, the referee penalising her.
Well, that spike has gone long. HURANSKA to continue serving at 4-2. Took a touch on the way out. Block out. Ukraine taking an early lead here in the opening set.
That one caught a bit of the net, but also it caught a bit of the Ukraine player. Off the hands, along the net, out of play, Brazil's ball.
So Jani to serve for Brazil. 3-5. Well, that was a cheap point given away, out of play. Ukraine will take that one. 6-3. PRYVALYKHINA to serve. And block out for Brazil. Brings them back to within 2 points. Janaina serving at 4-6.
Nice up by Gizele. And it pays off for Brazil. That ball played over from the back row. As Gizele had popped it in the air, Jani it was, putting it over. And Ukraine getting into a spot of bother with that one.
Janaina to serve again. Nicely kept in play by the Ukraine. And the ball is still live. What a rally we're seeing. Well, eventually the Brazilians able to make contact with a court the other side of the net. And there it is, finds the gap, got through the block. Janaina to serve at 6-all. Well, nice block from Ukraine, straight down into space. Service now back over to the Ukraine.
Well, there's a couple of points from Brazil. It's made things interesting. They're siding out now to go level. Both teams seem to have settled into a sort of a rhythm.
Nice dig. Well, lifting being called against the Ukraine, so the point to Brazil, 7-all.
As Klochkova was reaching for that. Her hips came off the floor.
Adria to serve at 7-all.
That's come outside of the antenna, signified by the lines judge, so it'll be Brazil's point as we head into the first technical timeout. Brazil with the lead by 1.
Adria to serve.
Brasil abre 2 pontos. Segue no serviço Adria.
Well, Brazil will be pleased with that, getting a point straight off the back of the technical timeout, and it's they now who have a 2-point lead, turning around that early lead from Ukraine. Ukraine are the defending bronze medalists from London 2012. Quite a few of the players playing were in that team that took bronze, so a little bit on the line for them here as they try to retain their bronze medal status, as it were. Net touch given against Ukraine, so Brazil now 3 in front.
Well, there was nobody at the back of the court for Brazil to keep that one in play. Adria just moved a bit too close to the net. Left the back of the court exposed. Absolutely the right shot from the Ukraine. Nice side out from Brazil to take that point. Well, Nathalie to serve. Well, that ball has been called out. It was very, very close. So the point stays with Brazil, 12-8.
I'm surprised, actually. Timoshenko has yet to call a timeout here. He's seen his team go from being in front to now 4 points behind. Now 5 points behind. Lovely block. And now indeed the timeout is called by Ukraine.
Nathalie to serve. Well, went for the right area of the court, just couldn't quite keep it in.
There's a nice quick ball out to Camila. As you can see, there was a little bit of room on the baseline as she went for that lob shot, but didn't quite pay off. So it's Ukraine who have the serve through YUDINA. Well, that just really keeps the pressure on Ukraine. In a situation like this, they haven't had the serve for a while. They've been having to try and side out. It's taken them a while. They get that side out and then they give the ball straight back to Brazil without making them work for it. There could be another few points here for Brazil if Ukraine aren't careful, and indeed there are. So a double touch called against KLOCHKOVA on what was a really poor pass into her in the first place, and the pressure really is on Ukraine now.
Oh, nice gap opening up, 6 points now. Gizele to serve. Well, gifting the point to the Ukraine. Straight out of play with that serve. So Klochkova to serve. Ball goes straight into the net. So, well, we've got the second technical timeout now.
Well, that one off the shoulder, not going over, and it really is going wrong here for Ukraine after such a bright start.
Camila no serviço.
16-10, Camila to serve. The block out given to Brazil.
There's a block touch. Brazil has the point. 7-point difference. 7 pontos de diferença. Camila segue no serviço.
We're going through the block, through the hands, catching the hair. Interesting enough, if your hair touches the net, it's not an infringement. But if the ball touches your hair on its way out, it is an infringement. It's the one part of the body in volleyball that is not classed as a touch, other than the touches under the net you see from the player's legs, which are incidental and are also not classed as a touch. That's a really good spike. Lovely ball. That's a positive set. So the energy of that ball going into Gizele, she's then used that to go behind, opened up enough space to go down the line as well with that swing from Jani. Really good play. We talk about positive setting and negative setting. A positive set is where you use the ball's energy to send it on its way. A negative set is where you stop the ball and then send it back out the other way. So having to put some energy in of your own.
Jani unable to dig the ball out of trouble there. Ukraine now close the gap to within 6. PRYVALYKHINA to serve.
Brilliant pickup. Equally so by Ukraine as well. Oh, another good dig. But it's the block that holds firm for Brazil. That was a super rally. Both teams working so hard to keep that ball off the floor. But in the end, it's Brazilian blocking that does the trick. Janaina very happy with that.
Janaina now takes her turn to serve.
That's another supreme blocking display at the net. This time by Adria.
Timeout has now been called by the Ukraine. We've got an 8-point game right now. Janaina to continue serving for Brazil at 20-12.
Well, that's the same play for Ukraine, the same outcome for Brazil as Adria makes another block. She's up, the hands are getting across the net. She finishes with her hands as well to seal that block. Ukraine needs a different game plan here. So they try going through the back court, but that was a very soft spike. And it's Brazil now have the free ball. Oh, brilliant. Janaina from the backcourt pike position in the middle. Central coming in after serving, playing 6 back and then coming up with the spike. And now Ukraine make a substitution. In fact, they're going to make a double substitution here.
So number 10 comes on, Manankova. Number 1 comes off, PRYVALYKHINA. Number 2, CHURKINA on, PODLIESNA off. Well, Brazil unstoppable in this first set. 23-12, just 2 points away from taking the opening set. And it just took a deflection through the block as it found the middle part of the court. Janaina to continue serving.
Well, they brought CHURKINA into the middle for Ukraine, the captain, to try and add a little bit of height and try and get the better of Adria. It's not really working at the moment. It's another free ball. It doesn't even land in court here. And now Brazil have set point, 24-12. What a turnaround for them in this first set. A really good serving run from Janaina as well, who goes back again at set point up.
Well, they've been given it. Brazil take the first set, 25-12. And they take the lead now, 1-0.
Well, Ukraine turned up for the first part of the set, and then they just watched for the rest of it, lifting. It may well have been actually a carry, I think it's been given. Indeed, it was a carry against Ukraine. So everything that could go wrong did go wrong for Ukraine in that last set, as we get confirmation of that score, 25-12. So plenty of work for Ukraine to do to get back into this one. Brazil will know, and will certainly be expecting Ukraine to play better in the second set. They will not be taking that kind of play for granted when they go back out onto court again at the start of set 2. At least that's what the coach will be telling them. Let's have a look at the statistics. It doesn't make great reading for Ukraine. Just 5 digs, 2 blocks. But only 1 service fault, but they didn't get to serve that many times actually, because it was all Brazil serving. Janaina on a huge serving run. So a little bit of between set entertainment for the fans, but they have been enjoying that first set, very entertained by the play of Brazil, totally dominating against Ukraine, and we'll be looking for more of the same as set 2 is about to get underway. Last-minute instruction for Brazil as Camila has a chat with Gedges, the coach.
So it's Gizele to serve for Brazil to get the second set underway. Brazil currently leading by 1-0. Well, a lovely spike, not a huge amount of power on it. She was going for accuracy just inside the baseline. No Ukrainians there to defend. That will do nicely, thank you very much. Well, not quite able to keep the ball in play. Duda from Brazil, LEIRIA.
Well, Brazil have lined up exactly the same way they did in the first set, in the same positions, and Ukraine have just moved around one position, so where KLOCHKOVA was at position 1 to start with, she's moved to position 2, so they've just turned it around, just because that means that KLOCHKOVA will be going back to serve first when, as Ukraine had that first opportunity, so they wanted her to serve first, and now it's Camila for Brazil with the serve.
Well, Gizele just can't quite keep the ball in as it goes off out the back. Block out to the Ukraine.
So this time, Janaina gets that one cross-court, past the block, past the defenders.
Well, that was more like it from the Ukraine, a more powerful spike this time. Got the block out at 3-all.
Nathalie having to reach towards the antenna, didn't have good balance. That was easy block out for Ukraine.
PRYVALYKHINA to serve.
That's an error from Adria. Apologising to everybody, including Coach Gedges. It's going to be a carry called against Gizele. That's, I mean, she's the setter. It was perhaps a little bit low, but a little bit harsh. Normally setters get the leniency when it comes to those types of plays, but not on that occasion though. So Ukraine leading by 2, much better start to this second set, although they did start well in set 1 before letting it slide. But they have now doubled their lead. And a timeout called by Brazil.
PRYVALYKHINA to continue serving now at 6-3. Well, the ball was good. Point to Brazil this time. Right on the baseline.
That'll certainly make Coach Gedges pleased, getting the point off the back of the timeout. And now Janaina with the serve. Had a great serving run in the first set. Looking to do more of the same here. Oh, that will help. Well, it's a cruel blow, really, when the ball catches the top of the net. Can go anywhere. On this occasion, it's caught the net, gone completely away. Oh, in fact, it caught the block, and that doesn't help either. It's taken it away from where PRYVALYKHINA would have played the ball, and now she's having a go at the blocker in the front row for that. And now the blocker decided to take her hands out of the way. It was PODLIESNA as that ball came over and then cut PRYVALYKHINA out again. Great serving from Janaina.
Well, Brazil right back in this second set. They've now gone from 3 points down to 1 point up, 7-6. Janaina to continue serving. Well, a timeout has now been called, this time by Ukraine. Has it? No?
Well, it was, but the referee said no. You haven't called it quickly enough. There might be a yellow card time delay then, if that's the case, and that's what Jani is going to go and say. Excuse me, should there not be a yellow card? If you've called the timeout incorrectly, what's the first ref going to do? He's going to have a little word with the... having a little chat with the ref. I think actually maybe there's an issue with some equipment, potentially the whistle. Might be needing a new whistle here for the second ref, but certainly diving into the bag of spare stuff. Oh, well, look at that. Would you believe it? The first referee's forgotten her cards and was going to give a card for a time delay, and now she's, oh dear, that'll be a little embarrassing. So time delay for the coach. Maybe there should be a time delay for the first ref.
Well, that is embarrassing.
Well, it is a bit, but it's a right decision. Of course, she's going to go, right, I'm going to give you a yellow card, time delay. I haven't got my cards.
So explain that. Why is a time delay being given?
Because the referee, so the time delay has occurred because Timoshenko called for a timeout after the whistle had gone for the serve, or as the whistle was going to go. So trying to delay tactics, play delaying tactics, and the referee not having any of it. And that ball has gone out of play. In fact, it's caught the antenna.
And we are now going to go for a timeout, but it's a technical timeout this time.
That ball way outside. Not good for Ukraine. So looking at the statistics, not much in it at the moment. Just the 2 points separating the teams. Fans still very much in party mode, and no doubt they'll be doing that throughout the rest of this match if Brazil can keep this lead. They've managed to turn it around again in this second set. And it's Janaina again who's been the reason for that with her really good serving.
Well, commentator's fate, a really good serving has ended. It's now gone straight out of play. So, BRIK to serve. Oh, nice block, keeps it in play. And again, Janaina to set it up. Well, it comes back Down on the Brazilian side, off the block from the Ukraine. Superb playing by the Ukraine. Levels the scores now at 8 apiece.
Yeah, that was a good rally. Both teams working very hard. Brazil couldn't quite find the power they needed with their attack. Brazil still leading in blocks at the moment. Adria, the main reason for that, number 4 for Brazil. Okay, great set by Gizele going behind. Another chance here for Brazil. Well, that ball's a little bit low towards the outside to Nathalie. And unfortunately for her, she's compounded measures by just hitting it very steep. It was a little bit in front of her as well, couldn't quite get what contact she needed on the ball.
Well, BRIK serves long this time, beyond the baseline, straight out of play. Second set much, much closer. Brazil lead 1-0. Adria to serve. That's a good block from the Ukraine. Podliesna next. And Podliesna serves long. Well, they're gifting points to one another. It's fairly balanced in that respect. The scores are tied at 10 apiece, which will be the first team to open up any kind of gap. Nathalie to serve. Oh, that was cheeky. Well, Ukrainians couldn't predict that from Gizele. Lovely touch behind, just into a gap where there was nobody there.
That's an excellent spike from YUDINA. It's a high ball out wide. Brazil had their 2 blockers in position to take away the line, but couldn't stop that ball going cross-court. In fact, there was a little bit of a gap there, which was exploited.
YUDINA to serve. Ukrainians' blocks are superb at the moment. Bit of frustration from the Brazilians this time. There's only 1 point in it. And again, block out given to the Ukraine. Well, this gives them a 2-point lead.
Really nice swing by PRYVALYKHINA, off the hands and away, getting the advantage over Gizele. It certainly appears as if Ukraine have shrugged off that poor performance in the first set. Certainly very much in this one. And that's not a great spike by Janaina. Ukraine now with a 3-point lead, but timeout called by Brazil.
Timeout by Brazil 10.
YUDINA to continue serving for the Ukraine at 14-11. That ball is called in right on the sideline. So Gizele to serve. Well, the ball out of play by the Ukrainians, unable to control it back. Brazil back within 1 point.
It's lovely setting from Gizele, who had slid into position and went with the reverse set to Janaina. Gizele will serve again. Well, there might be a net touch against Brazil. I think that's what's going to be called. Camila plays it, follows through, it's her elbow, catches the net.
KLOCHKOVA to serve.
Well, that's a great dig. Well, what a shame. That was a brilliant dig from BRIK. Reactionary save to keep the ball in play, and then the ball that was set out to her was just too wide.
Well, another long serve, another point gifted to the Ukraine. Second technical timeout called at 16:14. HURANSKA to serve. Well, Brazil find the gap in the middle of the court. Ukrainians sprawled all over the place trying to save. Nobody can get to it.
There's definitely a little bit of luck with that backspin on the ball. As back to serve goes Jani. This is a interesting few points now for Brazil. If they can draw level and maybe get back in front. But they're certainly not going to do it with a spiking like that from PRYVALYKHINA. That was amazing. There is absolutely no stopping this one.
Oh, I don't even know if Duda saw that coming. PRYVALYKHINA to serve next. 17-15. Well, there was a call to leave that from the Ukraine, and they didn't. It was played. And they gave the point away to Brazil. Janaina to serve. Oh, desperation as Brazil try and get a hand to keep the ball in play. They did, and left space open at the back. Duda just unable to recover. BRIK. Well, BRIK then plays the shot into the net.
Substituição na equipe do Brasil. Sai número 6, entra número 1. For Brazil, coming out number 6. Onto the court, number 1, Paula.
So Paula coming in for Brazil, and Camila is making way. Adria with the serve.
And Adria serves long. Ukraine now up by 2. As they bring in Podliesna to serve. Well, one service goes long, then the next. Podliesna is the next victim. Consistency is going to play a huge part in this game.
It's all about holding your nerve here at the business end of a set. If you can force your will on the other team here, you could see yourself get a few points clear. That was almost kept in play. Nathalie just couldn't quite get the angle of that ball as she got underneath it.
So number 6 out, YUDINA is out. And SAMOILENKO is in, and straight in to serve. Well, let's see if she can do a better job.
Well, she didn't get the opportunity to serve in the first set because they never got round to that rotation, and now she's had a serve here in the second set. She's put that one way too far out over the baseline, so the substitution will be reversed, and that means YUDINA comes back in.
Well, how frustrating is that? You come on for 1 point, your job is to serve, you fail to execute, and you're taken straight back off again. No opportunity to get into the match.
Sometimes coaches will bring a player on as a serving specialist, but if you are, that means you have to get the ball in. Gizele with an excellent serve. Not the best of passes from YUDINA, and Brazil have levelled, and now it's Ukraine who call the timeout.
The scores are tied in this second set. Brazil lead 1-0. Gizele to serve. Lovely block. Sorry, lovely spike into the block from Brazil, so they get the point. Which team can hold their nerve now as we get to the business end of this set?
Was indeed a great block, shutting down PRYVALYKHINA. They hadn't been able to do that up to that point. That's a big psychological blow, but that, though, is also a little bit annoying for Brazil. That was close, but as it is, it's Ukraine who have levelled. Brazil have the advantage. They're siding out for the lead each time here. Nice set from Gizele. Oh, what a spike that is! Gizele to Janaina, brilliant.
And what a time to do it. How important is that? Well, to get any advantage this late in the set is critical.
Jani getting that right through the arms of the Ukrainian block.
So Paula to serve. And that's in. Brazil have a 2-point advantage now, 23-21.
Lovely tip, right to position 6, no one able to get it. Timeout called by Ukraine.
Paula to serve, 2 points up. Well, the block is good from Brazil. And they're now within set point.
It goes out wide. Janaina is there alongside Jani, and it's Jani who gets the touch.
Paula just slowing the service game down, just taking her time, making sure that each ball at least makes it inside the court. Set point.
Well, they're desperately trying to get that ball to PRYVALYKHINA. And at the second attempt, she puts it on the floor. And it's all Brazil now, as Ukraine have the serve with HURANSKA. It's about Brazil's ability to decide out to take the set. Well, there was only one place that was going to go, and it never mattered though, did it? Because Janaina puts it down. Ukraine couldn't stop it. What a way to take the second set. Brazil doing it 25-22, leading now 2-0.
Minha gente, com essa pancada da Janaina, fechou o segundo set o Brasil, 25-22, 2-0 no placar. Brazil leading 2 sets.
A confirmation then of the score, 25-12, 25-22 in the second, a much more closer affair in the second set, but Brazil managing to turn it around right at the business end. More trouble now for Ukraine, really, as they go into the third set. Not the best of service matches in that second set, with 6 errors from Brazil and 5 from Ukraine, as things got a little bit edgy in the mid-phase. Fans, though, very happy because their team are 2-0 up and are 1 set away from a bronze medal, potentially.
terceiro set, Brasil 2-0 no momento. Olha aí.
So KLOCHKOVA from the Ukraine to serve to get the third set underway. Brazil currently leading 2-0, and by 1 point to nothing in this third set.
Janaina bota para baixo, já começa bem o Brasil, hein? 1-0. No serviço é Paula.
So Paula has demonstrated consistency in her serving in the second set. She's been called upon again. Well, lifting given against Brazil. The point will go to the Ukraine. CHURKINA to serve. Well, another point to the Ukraine. Nice spike. A correction on the server. It's HURANSKA, number 3, who is serving. Oh, nasty shot. Straight down the line. HURANSKA was on the receiving end. Nothing she could do. Huge spike from Janaina. She'll take that one, thank you very much. Jani to serve at 2-all. Gizele trying to get to that, couldn't quite make it. Have to keep the hips on the ground at all times, even when moving to the ball.
Gizele's pretty quick across the floor. Unfortunately for her, she wasn't as quick as she needed to have been to keep it in play. She'll now try and organise things here as the ball goes to her with her ability to set.
Oh, that's in. The ball is good. Just inside the baseline from the Ukraine, giving them a 2-point lead.
Nice tip deep. Gizele had come up and there was lots of room behind her.
PRYVALYKHINA.
Interesting that Brazil opting to have Gizele come in and set in between positions 4 and 3. Traditionally, you have your setter setting between positions 2 and 3. So, opting to have a set out to position 2 where she's facing the attacker, which is Janaina, who's now gone back to serve. Well, that was a shame. Nice hit, but it's gone long. That certainly caught Brazil by surprise.
Nice save by Gizele. Well, the spike goes long, a point given to the Ukraine.
This second set, or third set, rather, going the way that the second set did, pretty tight. Not much in it. It's all about Ukraine here. If they can just try and keep their cool and not let Brazil get level, not let Brazil get a run of points, and see where they end up towards the end of this set. It's a must-win set for Ukraine. If they don't, they obviously they'll lose this match 3-0, and that means they finish 4th. They were the bronze medalists in 2012, so they'll be going home without a medal. Equally, there's still pressure on Brazil here. They have those 2 sets in the bag, but they still have 1 more to win.
Adria to serve.
That will do nicely from Ukraine. Big swing this time from YUDINA.
Podliesna to serve. Oh, big spike attempt. Got the deflection on the way out. Nathalie will now come back into service position. The score's tied in the third set.
Well, that was an opportunity for Brazil as that ball came over Duda nose. She should have done better with it. Offensive specialist, the libero for Brazil. Caught cold by that play. Jani just putting that over the top of the block and nobody in quick enough to play the ball for Ukraine. Just a little tip over the top. Yudina, who'd been serving, was never going to get there. Good angle, well defended, but it's not going to come back. That ball came off KLOCHKOVA, went out towards PRYVALYKHINA, but she couldn't bring it back. And we hit the technical timeout, Brazil leading 8-7 and by 2-0.
Gizele no serviço, 8-7 Brasil, 2-0 na partida.
8-7 in the third. Gizele to serve. Huge spike from PRYVALYKHINA.
It'll be Larysa KLOCHKOVA to serve.
KLOCHKOVA. Well, point given for a net touch against Brazil. Well, the spike this time from Janaina right down the line. Just stayed inside.
It's a real battle, isn't it, between PRYVALYKHINA of Ukraine and Janaina of Brazil at the moment. Those two are the go-to players for each country. Paola taking her time, getting herself set. Oh, it's a good serve. It's free ball back for Brazil. Good covering behind the block. Oh, well played. Really good play. Ukraine thought that was going out, left it. Lost her bearings on court as to where she was at HURANSKA. Paola again will just take her time here, get herself into the serving mindset she needs to be in. It's a Another good serve, because it's Brazil who have the chance here, and they've taken it. Janaina once again. Well, just shows you the value, how important a pre-serve routine is. Once you get that ball, you then go through that routine, and it's the same every single time, so that you are ready to be able to put that ball in play.
Well, the difference really has been since Paula has come on to court. 42 years of age, the experience she has really is shining through.
That was unlucky, miss hit from Jani. That was a good serving run from Paula. A couple of valuable points now that puts Brazil in the driving seat.
HURANSKA to serve. Well, the point's been given to the Ukraine for lifting by Brazil. And Brazil finds space at the back of the court. Well, the frustration here from the Ukrainians.
There should have been somebody there to cover.
Jani to serve.
It'll go down as an ace serve from Jani. You can see Jani's pre-serve routine. She bounces the ball a set number of times and then takes a breath and gets it into play. And it's Ukraine who've called timeout.
Brazil are up by 2 sets to nothing. And up in the third. 13-11, Jani to serve. There's another point, they'll take that. 3-point advantage now.
Well, this will be a worry for Ukraine. Second set was a lot closer in the mid-phase before Brazil managed to break away from them towards the end of the set. That is an excellent block. Janaina matched up against PRYVALYKHINA, and it's Janaina who's made the block, denying Ukraine. PRYVALYKHINA with nowhere to go.
Well, a gap is opening up here now for Brazil. They go 5 up in the third.
This time it's a block from Nathalie. And second timeout called. Well, in fact, luckily for Ukraine, it's the technical timeout. 16-11 down, they get a breather.
Jani to serve, 16-11. Ukraine, well, it got a deflection. It got a tip on the way out.
Might just have caught the block as it went out. And so it is Ukraine who have the ball. PRYVALYKHINA it will be to serve. So they've lost her effectiveness in the front row. They'll be relying on her good serving and defence in the back row. Janaina now getting that block out, so she also goes to the back row. Both teams kind of cancelling each other out in that department now. And a substitution for Ukraine as on comes MANANKOVA for PRYVALYKHINA, and also coming in is number 2 CHURKINA. She replaces PODLIESNA, and also a change, double change for Brazil as number 11 comes in LEIRIA. She replaces number 10 Janaina. Happening a little bit too quick for the referees, making them come back to do it again. And the captain's coming in, Sue Ellen for Brazil, as she replaces Gizele. So Gedge is looking like he's going to try and get most of the players into the action here, I think. 5 points up for Brazil. It's looking pretty good for them. And it will be LEIRIA to serve. That's an ace serve. What an impact. What a way to come in and make a mark. The Ukrainians not happy with that. That ball looked to have landed in. But the referee's given it as out. Well, I think that ball is in. The impact on the ball as it landed would have caught the line. Crowd not happy. Brazil not happy. Ukraine feeling a little bit lucky. BRIK with the serve.
The point being given.
Oh, well, I tell you what, that you have to feel for Ukraine, and quite rightly, Udina's saying, hold on, I'm sat here, I put my hands up on my side of the net, the ball's hit my hands, yes, the ball is on the other side, it's on Brazil's side, my hands are on my side, how can you call that for being over? Wow, well, a couple of interesting calls, I guess you could say that's one each for both sides.
Well, Brazil managing to keep the ball in play. And they get the point.
Lovely block from Paula. She's enjoying that. The team loving it. As they get closer towards the finish line here. Nowhere at all for Udina to go. Paula shutting her out.
Well, deep breath now for Adria, just taking the final instructions from the coach before she executes this serve. Good play by Ukraine.
There's CHURKINA, the captain, getting that ball on the floor. She'll go back to serve. It's her first serve of the match. She came in across the front row in the last set. I think it could be, well, there's going to be some trouble here, unless that's the table saying it's the wrong server. I think it is. It's not 2 to serve. I think they're saying it's the wrong server. CHURKINA came in at 3. She replaced PODLIESNA. BRIK had served, or had she? Yes, BRIK had served, so CHURKINA would be next to follow her. And now they're saying, yep, sorry, we got that wrong. It was indeed CHURKINA to serve. They may not have noted the substitution, perhaps thought PODLIESNA was going to serve number 8, but she's not even on court. Well, they hadn't recorded BRIK's serve, maybe. But they've sorted it out now.
Well, 6 points up. Brazil move closer and closer to taking this third set.
KLOCHKOVA just put that straight into the net. She had 2 blockers in front of her. Didn't come up with a decent shot. This is a huge lead now for Brazil as Nathalie goes back to serve.
Oh, there's another for Brazil. Just 4 points away now from taking this match and the bronze medal. Timeout called by Ukraine. 14-21. Brazil up by 2-0. 21-14 in the third. Nathalie to serve. Wow, you can just sense the excitement right now, and the Brazilians need to keep their composure. 3 points away from the match. A substitution now. Lesnar on, CHURKINA off.
The substitution's been reversed, so that means CHURKINA will play no further part in this set, and maybe no further part in this match either, unless Ukraine can find something pretty quickly to turn this around.
Well, unable to dig themselves out of trouble. Ukraine now at 15-22. There's another change. We have PRYVALYKHINA coming back on, MANANKOVA going off. YUDINA to serve. And the point goes to the Ukraine. 16-22 now. This time into the net, gifted Brazil a point closer to the victory.
Heads beginning to drop here for Ukraine. Double substitutions now been reversed for Brazil. So Janaina comes back in, Gizele comes back in. That puts Gizele into the serving line and Janaina into the front row as they look to try and finish things off here. Expect to see Janaina get plenty of sets. Gizele with the serve.
Well, a tremendous spike by PRYVALYKHINA just when they needed it most.
Janaina was out there to try and stop PRYVALYKHINA, but there was no stopping that one. But it's still very much all about Brazil here as KLOCHKOVA serves.
Well, like for like, Janaina this time with a tremendous spike takes them to match point.
Lovely set by Gizele. There was only one place it was going to go, out to 4 for Janaina. Made no mistake about putting that away. And now it's Paula who goes back to serve. She had a great serving run the last time she was at the baseline. This one is likely to be a hard topspin serve. Jani, Adria and Janaina at the net, looking to see if they can stop this one from coming back over.
Deep breath from Paolo before this serve.
Well, she had to hurry up. She was actually running out of time, and her teammates were saying to her, hurry up, we're going to get called for this. And I think that just put her off. You get 8 seconds. She was well right on the limit of that.
Well, this is very tense now. HURANSKA to serve.
Well, A little change up there by Brazil. It was Adria who had the spike. Instead of going to Janaina, PRYVALYKHINA was out trying to stop Janaina. So it's an unforced error from Brazil. 2 match points saved and a timeout now called by Gedges. Well, a long look from the referee, just checking to see if it had come off anybody's hands before she awarded that point. So Ukraine save another match point. HURANSKA with the serve again.
It's all over. Brazil have it. The bronze medal in front of the home crowd.
Oh, marvellous scenes. They played magnificently well, Brazil. The fans loving it. They beaten Ukraine in the pool stages 3-0. They came out in the first set and it was Ukraine who had the early lead before Brazil just went away to take it 25-12. A much closer second set. Brazil dug out very deep to take it towards the end, 25-22. And then in the third set, Ukraine, knowing that they had to make something happen, were good in the first part, but Brazil were just too good in the end, taking it 25-20. Ukraine can have no complaints. Brazil were magnificent and worthy winners of the bronze medal here at the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. Well, there were tears of sorrow for Paula, number 1 for Brazil, after they were beaten in the semi-finals, and there are tears of joy now for her as she gets to celebrate winning a bronze medal with her teammates. And tears of joy for quite a few of the other players as well. Well, it wasn't to be for Ukraine. They'll have no complaints. They were outplayed. Brazil came in search of bronze. They're on the podium. They have exactly what they came here for. An emotional moment for the players and for the fans, and no doubt for those of you watching and supporting Brazil as well. It is indeed Brazil, Brazil, Brazil. It's the start of their celebrations. This is how it was done. Gizele out to Jani, went with the tip. It couldn't be brought back into play. And it was Brazil who could start the celebrations. Another look at it from the reverse angle. Gedges celebrating, Janaina up and crying immediately as the emotion gets the better of the players. All that focus, all that hard work has all paid off for Brazil. Confirmation of the score against Ukraine, 25-12, 22 and 20.